If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is September the 8th, 2023, and today the topic is Stay in God's Presence. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope that you all had a wonderful Thursday. Mine was just fine. I don't have too much to report in regards to announcements. I mean, nothing too much of significance happened, at least not that I can share. I mean, I've had some good conversations yesterday. I worked yesterday. That's the main stuff. Got my admissions done. That's the only thing that was a little bit different from the routine. Because while I was out, my husband was like, hey, so can you get this done while you're out? But outside of that, I mean, yeah, nothing of significance to share. So let's go ahead and get into this conversation of stay in God's presence. How did I get to this topic today? Well, one, I woke up early this morning. I woke up at like 2:49. I did make a note. I did look it all up. I did all the stuff that I usually would do. But I wouldn't say that was the inspiration. I would say the inspiration more so came from the prayer and meditation that I listened to this morning with, of course, y'all know, the Soul Space app. Basically, it had me reflecting on peace. And at some point, it had me to ask God, I guess, a step to have peace or something along those lines. And so as I was asking God that, and seeking Him for wisdom, the word stay came into my heart and mind. And then ultimately I was reminded of a couple of verses. One of them I'm going to share in a moment. And this idea of staying in God's presence is what ultimately I feel led to talk about, as well as it seemed to be the answer of how to have or gain peace. And that is to stay in God's presence. But let's get into the Bible and see what it has to say about that. So the first verse that came into my heart and mind this morning, again, as I was reflecting on all this and what God had put stay in my heart and mind, was Isaiah 26:3. It says, you keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. So, yeah, I mean, we're keeping our mind stayed on him and we're trusting in him, which will ultimately give us the peace that we all desire and seek. I don't know if y'all believe that. I don't know if everybody believe that or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, I have seen this happening in my life. I mean, don't get me wrong now. Obviously, reflecting on the things of God has also been I guess you would say, like a nerve-wracking thing sometimes. But that was usually when I was out of order. Usually when I wasn't on track or out of the will of God, when it was kind of nerve-wracking to think of the things of God, because then you're like, well, trying to figure out if there's a loophole or if there's a way in or if there's a way outside of what the Bible says. And I'll be honest, y'all may know I'm recording a little bit later than usual, X, Y, and Z. And basically I did a deep dive into a lot of other different topics as well. And in the midst of those deep diving into those things, it would be like I would, I guess, take a moment of rest and then get back up and do it all over again. So I took a deep dive into this idea of, who Jesus is, his childhood. I also looked up into, there was something else I was looking into, I guess the validity of the Bible. I feel like there was one more thing. But basically when I got to the last thing, whatever it was, I can't even remember now. That's when I was, really going back and forth of this quote unquote sleep. But ultimately when I woke back up, right, I felt led to go ahead and share this part of my studies, again, the staying in the presence of God part, because again, I think a lot of us want peace. We want joy, we want love, we want all the fruits of the Spirit, right? But then we don't want the Spirit. So we don't want to stay in God's presence, right? We don't want to feel guilty about our ways. We don't want to, look at ourselves and feel like we fall short. And I guess that's what one thing that being in God's presence does. It humbles us to understand that, you know what, man, I am not perfect. I fall short. And I mean, on one hand, it should encourage us and inspire us to, I guess, lean more on Jesus and depend on him and things of that nature. But sometimes it does the opposite, depending on where you are spiritually. And so, but anyway, for those that are seeking peace, right? For those that, desire peace and things like that, then let's start getting into the presence of God. Let's give you guys another verse here. We got Psalm 16:11. It says, "You made known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." Again, I don't think we trust God enough to think that he's going to give us the desires of our heart. I don't think we trust God enough to think he's going to lead us and guide us into good things and all this, even though the word says it repeatedly, and he'll show you in your life if you pay attention. But for whatever reason, we as humans, we struggle with that because, again, I think we just want to do our own thing our own way, and we think what we feel is right until we ultimately go down a path and then realize that, you know what, I didn't make the best decision here, or you know what, I wasn't ready for these consequences for whatever actions that I've done, or whatever the case is, or the choices that I made and things of that nature. And so for some, it pushes us closer to God at that point, and then for others, it sometimes pushes farther away, because then we get so bold to say, well, God, why didn't you stop me from making the wrong choice and decision? And forgetting about the fact that he gave us all free will out of love, so we could choose for ourselves and not be forced, and things of that nature. And so, I mean, obviously it's a deep study that we all have to do and go, and have one day. But again, I'm just talking to the ones that want peace, right? If you are a love seeker, right? If you are someone that, proclaims that you believe in God and things of that nature, you should already probably know how to get the peace. But still, some of us still struggle in this area. So again, going to the one or the God of peace is going to get us the peace that we desire. And with that peace comes, what is it saying? I guess more wisdom and knowledge, because it talks about that he'll make known to us the path of life. Fullness of joy comes with that as well. And then pleasures forevermore. And it may not be your earthly pleasures, right? But it will be pleasures that surpass, I guess, the understanding that we have here on earth. Let me give a shout out, y'all, to my mama this morning. She's tuning in live. Good morning, Mom. I love you. Let's keep it going. So we got Exodus 33:14. It says, "And he said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." At the end of the day, that's what peace does. That's what staying in God's presence will do. It will give you rest, alongside of all the other things that I've already mentioned: joy, pleasures forevermore, wisdom. All these different things will come with staying in God's presence. And so it's not as bad as I believe that we internally think it is. Because again, if we're struggling with this battle of like, well, is God's plan good for me? Or do I really want the things of God? Or whatever the case may be, whatever we're struggling with to, when it comes to trusting God fully, basically, he's just trying to let us know that, hey, as you stay in my presence, then I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to give you rest. And so the things, again, that people are stressing about when it comes to life, food, clothing, bills, all these things, staying in God's presence will eliminate a majority of that. Like, will it eliminate the problem? No, but it will probably eliminate your point of view of the problem. and obviously give you wisdom and ways to work through or out of the problems, depending on whatever they are. So, I mean, again, this goes out to anybody that's seeking peace, right? That's wanting and desiring to have more peace in their life. The juice today is ultimately to stay in God's presence. And I mean, I guess that's it, y'all. That is all I have to say about that. Now, the Bible verse of today is 2 Corinthians 4:18. It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys will go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Now, y'all know today is Friday, so we have a new episode of the GSL Talk Show coming out tonight. It is with Dr. Nelva Melissa Lee. And she's a lovely lady that I ended up meeting that actually lives in my family's hometown, which is Locust Grove, Georgia. We didn't know that when we logged in until we got to talking and stuff. So that was really cool to find out. And then she has a business called Mateo, where they do interpreting skills and things of that nature. And so you guys can tune in and learn more about her and her endeavors tonight on the GSL Talk Show at 7 p.m. And yeah, y'all go have a fabulous Friday. And I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.